Hey guys, hope you all had a good long weekend and were able to get some rest over this weekend of Pentecost. And of course, what we talked about last Sunday, we hope we all find some time to really asking God to really fill us with the Holy Spirit again, because that's really what the Christian life is all coming down to. So we hope we can all practice that, and we hope we can all go deeper with God during this time. We have a few announcements for this week. The big one is, you might remember at our annual meeting last November, we made financial plans. And as you know, those were plans that were a little bit more. We wanted to use most of the budget that we had in the bank back then. And we did say that we don't want it to just sit there, but we want to make good use of it and we want to invest in it. And at the same time, we also then said that we will review and we will decide together after 6 months. So the decisions that we made back then, they were for the first 6 months of 2020. So that is around now, because now it's early June. And so we want to make sure that we keep our word and that we make decisions together about where we are now financially, how the church is doing, whether we are over budget, under budget, whether we are spending more, spending less, all those things. Of course, the move back then, we didn't know exactly how that will work out because we were still in Landsberger Straße. Now we spend a lot of money also on investing in different things in a new place. And so there are a lot of things that are really, that have happened in the last 6 months. And so what we want to do is we want to give everyone a chance and say, okay, this is the budget, this is how we use the money, this is how much money is left, and how do we want to use the rest? How do we want to move forward? Do we want to adjust something? All these kinds of questions. And due to Corona, we will not be able to do that in person. As you know, we can have church services, but we can't have these kind of meetings yet. We are not allowed to have that. So we'll have it online. And we will have it on a Wednesday night, Wednesday, June 17th. That is in 2 weeks at 8:30 p.m. So that's the plan. We want to ask everyone, mark your calendars for the moment. More details will come. Of course, we'll give you some information beforehand, making sure that you already have time to think about it and you aren't just confronted with numbers on the day and then have to quickly make a decision, but you have some time to think about it beforehand, look at the numbers, analyze them, and so on. We also want to encourage everyone that you will review our identity, because we did the big identity series at the beginning of the year, and of course one of the ways in which our identity has to be reflected is the way we use the finances, the way we use the money, the resources that God gives us. So I want to encourage everyone that you really take a deeper look at our identity again, and then ask the question, how can we use the financial resources that we do have in a way that supports our identity? And then, of course, we want to encourage everyone to pray over it and then come up with some ideas on that day and tell us what you are thinking, tell us what you believe God has been telling you, and tell us, I think we should spend less on this, I think we should spend more money on that, I think we should make some adjustments here, and these kind of things. So that's the plan. Like I said, more information will come soon, but June 17th, Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m., and it's going to be a go-to meeting, and that's where we're going to make these kind of decisions for the second part of 2020, until we then have our annual meeting again at the end of the year, and then we will make the decisions again and the budget for 2021. So that's that. Of course, we will continue with our regular schedule. As you know, the prayer series, right now, 2 more sermons are being planned. So one is this Sunday, that is about praying for God's kingdom, as Jesus commanded us to pray for God's kingdom to come. And we'll take a deeper look at that. What does that actually mean? So that's planned for this week. And then for next week, we plan on talking about, okay, I've prayed, now what? What happens after prayer? When we finish praying, what is our part to play beyond prayer to see our prayers being really answered? So those 2 topics are still happening. Now, if there's any other topic that you would like to be covered as part of this prayer series, please let us know. So we can extend it by a week, We can extend it by 5 weeks if you have requests, if there are topics that you would like to be covered. So I don't care how long the series takes. What I want to make sure is that your questions are being answered. So if there are any more questions that you have on this topic of prayer, please let me know, and we'll make it part of the sermon series as well. Along the same lines, obviously, if one sermon series ends, we have to start a new one. So I want to hear from you if you have any particular requests of what you would like to talk about next. I already got from one person who told me what he would like to talk about next, and I take that into consideration, and I think it's a great topic. But again, I don't want to just talk about my favorite topics, or I don't just want to talk about what I think is good, but I want to make sure that the needs of the congregation are met. And so if there's any particular topic, any particular, whether it's a book in the Bible, or whether it's a certain theme, or just if you have some big questions that you would like to be covered in a sermon or in a sermon series, please let me know. Now is the time, because this prayer series is slowly coming to an end. Now is the time when we can take these kind of things into consideration, and we can make that part of the schedule. So please let me know if there's anything that is on your heart that you would like to talk about next. So those are the questions that we have for all of you. Obviously, this week we will have again our regular schedule. So Thursday night, 8:30 p.m., we will have our Bible study time for around 1 hour. So we will review last Sunday's sermon, Pentecost, praying for ourselves and being filled with the Holy Spirit. So that's the topic for this Thursday. Then, of course, on Saturday, we have our Ladies' Fellowship at 8 p.m. Sunday, we have our regular service at 3 p.m. As I said, this Sunday's focus will be praying for God's kingdom. And then on Sunday night at 8:30 p.m., the guys have their fellowship. So that's the announcements for tonight. If you have any questions, any suggestions, any thoughts, anything that concerns Aletheia that you would like to share, please reach out to me or any of the leaders at any time. And we want to make sure that your thoughts, your ideas, your concerns, and everything is really being considered as we move this church forward. So we're looking forward to seeing you all again this weekend.